I thought I'd try to make one of these darning eggs for Mrs. Magdad for Easter. Darning eggs come in many shapes and styles, some with and some without handles. A darning egg is used to mend knitted items like a sock. The egg fits inside the sock to expand the hole, allowing a patch to be weaved in. This is the one Mrs. Magdad uses. The egg part and handle are two separate pieces. I had some walnut that was about the right size for the egg. And I thought this cherry dowel would make a nice contrasting handle. This set of lathe tools was on clearance at Harbor Freight. They also let me use a coupon, so it worked out to less than $1 a tool. This is my first set of real lathe tools, and this project will be my first time using them. I used a center finder to mark the center of both pieces of stock. One side of this thing is good for square stock. And the other side is intended for round stock. I drilled both ends with a small center drill. The center drill makes a hole that matches the live center in my tiny lathe. Then I drilled a pilot hole for my homemade mandrel on one end. My mandrel is just one of these screws with the head cut off. I had to remove the corners of the walnut so it would fit my tiny lathe. Clearance is clearance. I started out with the 1/2-inch gouge. Once I had it round, I marked off the length of the egg. I used the parting tool to quickly remove material. Then I marked a spot roughly 2/3 the total length away from the handle end. I used the 1/2-inch gouge to round over the end. I found this to be a little tricky with the gouge. I'm going to have to practice this some more. I did the same thing on the handle end. I finished up by removing the tool rest and sanding with 120 and 220 grit sandpaper. I parted the piece off with a hacksaw. I was pretty happy with my egg shape. I planned to sand the end with my 1x30 machine. This right here was me trying out the 1/2-inch skew. Magdad isn't ready for the skew. I filled that in with a sawdust and glue paste. I used the cutoff tool to create the tenon on the handle. I shaped the handle with the 1/2-inch and 1/4-inch gouges. I used this homemade tool to add some beading. After hand sanding down to 320 grit, I applied a couple coats of Howard's Waxidol. I neglected to film drilling out the egg to accept the tenon. I chose the Waxidol because Mrs. Magdad is very sensitive to fragrances and chemical odors. So what do you think? I think it turned out okay. The egg section maxed out the capacity of my tiny lathe. I think the walnut and cherry look good together. It was a fun project for me to get some practice with my new lathe tools. I hope Mrs. Magdad likes it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Chuck and I wish everyone a happy Easter.